Hello, everybody. This is MoveEasy Yoga with Via. Kathy's on the floor to model the moves, and today is January 19th, 2021. We're going to start in the regular fashion, just lying on your back and watching your breath. Watching your body, your mind, and your spirits slow down. You become more aware of intangible things and less aware of tangible things. Can you hear the universe hum? I love my body loves me. Just take a couple more breaths. And we're going to do something just a little different today. I'm going to try to combine the vagus nerve reset and head ramping. So bear with me and see if this works for you. Go ahead, and therapy ball is at the back of the neck. So grab a set of therapy balls, preferably the large ones. But if you don't have large ones, you may want to put the balls on a small brick to bring them up so that you're actually placing the ball at the base of your occipital ridge, and just scooch around and find that place, snuggle into that place. And we're gonna set up the head ramping and then add inside the head ramping the vagus nerve reset. So go ahead and press the occipital ridge into the balls. The chin drops. The occipital ridge moves away from the shoulders. And once you have this, where I would ordinarily just ask you to take 2 breaths, instead I'm going to ask you to stay there and then look to the right with your eyeballs. Your eyes can be open or closed. Look to the right and wait for a yawn, sigh, swallow, or gulp. And then come on back and release everything. So release the head ramping. And now go back into the head ramping. Keep pressing the occipital ridge into the balls. Horizontal, the balls are horizontal. And now look left. Your eyes can be open or closed. Look left. And wait for a yawn, sigh, swallow, or gulp. Come on back. Release the whole thing. And we're going to do it one more time. One more time right and one more time left. Go ahead and press your head, the back of your skull into the balls. And now, once you maintain, you're at that position where your chin is tilted. Look right. with your eyeballs only. And wait for a sigh, swallow, yawn, or gulp. Don't smother your yawn. Make it a big one. Come back to center, release everything. And then again, go into the head ramping position. Look left with your eyeballs only. And wait for a sigh, swallow, yawn, or gulp. This is the last one. When I did this, I actually yawned very quickly, much more quickly than usual, which made me think, well, it must be a good position. And this is called stacking, when you stack things on top of each other, as opposed to multitasking. And now let's do some breath work. Let's do an extended exhale breath. You can choose whether to be lying on your back or on your belly. Just knowing that if you lie on your belly, you will be able to extend the breath into the lower lobes more effectively. And just extended exhale breath just means that you count your inhale and then you make your exhale longer than your inhale. I got a note from Diana. She can't come on Tuesdays, but she said that the breath work we did last week made a huge difference to her. She was having trouble breathing because of asthma or something like asthma. And anyway, our practice made a huge difference. So yay. If you yawn here, that is a good thing. If you yawn here too. Those vagus nerve reset, shifty eye move isn't the only way to reset your vagus nerve. There's lots of different ways. It's just one of the most effective that I know of. Now let's do a proning hypopressive. So get up on your hands and knees. Unless you don't like this, you're really uncomfortable with this, then just stay on your back and do the basic that I've cued before in the class. But Kathy is going to do the proning shape with the, and this, by the way, is a good breathing shape because it allows you to breathe into the bottom of the lungs. We're going to do 3 breaths and then hold the breath for 14 counts. We're going to do this twice. So we're beginning with breath, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale all the way out. Hold your breath in. There should be a scoop in the belly. You should really feel the abs here. And I'm going to count to 14. 1, 2, 3. Stay as long as you can. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. That's enough. More than enough. Just to relax a little bit and come back into this shape or stay in the shape. I mean, if you wanted to drop into child's pose, then you could come back up. Because that's a long time to be in one position. And then lift your hips up again and come into the proning position. 3 breaths, inhale, exhale, Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Last, that's the last one. All the way out. Now hold your breath out, no breath. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. And come out of that and come up into a floor seated position. Your favorite one, whatever that is. The first thing we're going to do is I'm going to remind you of the acupressure point at the base of your thumb that can help with lungs. So it's another way to improve your respiratory system. You should be able to poke around at the base of your thumb and find a very sensitive point and then press on it. Or a slightly sensitive point. And just stay here and breathe and press on your point. If you haven't found a place that's a little bit tender, then you should keep looking. Maybe it's farther up or farther down. And then now we're going to do a cervical side bend. We're going to do first cervical side bend and then thoracic side bend. So first cervical, just sitting up tall. That's thoracic, Kathy. Just stay. Cervical is just the neck. So you're going to drop your right ear to your right shoulder. Cervical side bend. Keep your torso straight so you're not tilting your thoracic spine. You're just tilting the cervical spine. And now drop your chin towards your armpit to get just another stretch, another kind of stretch. So remember, you're sitting tall. You may even want to bring your scapula together, retraction, to help you open your chest or keep your chest open. And now go ahead and bring your chin up and then bring your cervical spine up. And switch to the other side. Left ear, left shoulder. And just breathe. Sit tall, find a really straight spine. Drop your chin towards your armpit. And bring your chin up, and then bring your cervical spine up. Let's add resistance here. Drop your right ear to your right shoulder, and put your right hand on your left ear. And now press up into the hand. And create some resistance here. It's a totally different, you should be feeling something totally different. In the neck. Make sure your spine is long and tall. Go ahead and release your hand a little bit so that you can drop your chin forward towards your armpit. And now put your hand back and add that resistance again. Release your hand, bring your chin up, and then bring your spine up, your cervical spine up. Other side, left ear, left shoulder. Put your left hand on your right ear. Press the side of the face or the head into the hand. And breathe. Feeling a different and totally different stretch here when you add resistance. Go ahead and release your hand just a little bit so you can drop your chin forward. Now put your hand back on and add the resistance again. Bring let your resistance go. Move your chin back and now your head back, all the way back. Good. Now we're going to do thoracic side bend. So that was cervical side bend, only bending at the cervical spine. Now, which is the neck. And now, thoracic spine, T1 to T12. Take your right hand and slide it along the mat. Bring your arm up and over. Top arm up and over. And stay here. And breathe. You actually might find an additional neck stretch here, but that's not the focus here. Go ahead and drop your elbow towards the front. Find another stretch. And then come on up. So elbow first, then thoracic spine. I'm going to take my jacket off. I got warm with all that moving. Other side. Left arm along the mat, right arm up and over your head. If you can do it, I can't do that with my right arm, but someday soon. Go ahead and drop your armpit and your elbow towards the floor, getting just another stretch along the back of the neck, shoulders. Come on back up. So first, bring your chin up, then bring your thoracic spine up. Let's start the side lying practice. So lying on your side, starting with your right side first. Well, we didn't do this thoracic spine twist. We'll do that later if we have time. Right side first. You know, this is my go-to practice, or it was until I broke my arm. Go-to practice if I wanted to do something quickly, very efficiently. This is the way to go. So starting on your right side first, the top arm is straight out in front of you. Scapula, protraction, retraction. Do it let's do it 6 times. So retract. Remember, this movement is all about the scapula. Your arm moves along, goes along for the ride, but it's not the mover or the initiator. It's the scapula. So as you keep doing this, in your practice and in these classes, you should become very aware of the movement of the scapula and how it initiates the movement without involving the wrist or the elbow. I didn't count, but how are you and how are we in counting, Kathy?
Oh, we passed it.
We done it? Okay. Now maybe you can give me a sign when you've done 9, because I tend to get distracted with my own words. Okay. Now go ahead and just open up here towards the sky. This is called sunrise, sunset. It's a fundamental arm movement that we sometimes lose if we don't move it or lose it. It's basically lateral abduction, adduction at the arm bone. I can't do this right now. Not on the right side. When you've done 9, no, when you've done 6.
Okay,
6. We'll do the next one in this set. So these, you can notice these, you can memorize these by 3s. The next one, your arm is up toward the ceiling, and basically you are rotating internally and externally at the arm bone. So don't rotate starting at the wrist. Rotate starting at the arm bone. I just do about 6. And then come bring your arm down by your hip. This is the next set of 3 triplets for the shoulders. And the first thing we're gonna do here, just wait a minute, let me look, is snow angels. So externally rotate your arm so the palm is up toward the ceiling, and then bring your arm up and over by your ear. When you reach your destination here, face the palm forward and then bring it down to your side, your arm down to your side, palm facing forward. Bring the palm backward. These are 2 different external rotations, and then bring the arm up towards the ear. And now 4 more times. Well, 4 more starting here. Up you go. Down. Two to go. And last one. And now shoulder circles. You can bring your arm behind you first. And then it comes up by your ear and out in front of you and by your hip and back behind you. Keep going. Try to keep the movement in the shoulder socket, the glenohumeral joint. Don't move your chest or your armpit backwards. That's a stretch. It's a chest opener, but what I want you to do is circumduct the entire glenohumeral joint with your arm, the head of your arm bone. So all of the movement is right there at the glenohumeral joint. Reverse, redirections. And the last one on this side is a flying, half of a flying pizza. Your forearm is out parallel to the floor. Your elbow is tucked into your waist. Keep it tucked in, and then move your forearm over your hip and also rotate the wrist at the same time. So when you start, your palm is facing the floor. When you reach your destination, it's facing your ear. And back and forth you go 6 times. I think this is probably the 3rd, maybe 4th. Okay. This is number 5. Should feel this in the rotator cuff muscles. Okay. Legs, 3 leg movements. The first one is a straight-legged abduction, adduction. So just up and down. If you start to feel it at the groin, you're using your hip flexor. This is not a flexion extension movement. This is an abduction adduction movement. So you need to make your movement smaller if you're feeling it in the groin. You should feel it on either side of your thigh. When you've done 6, start to move forward and back. This is a flexion extension. So when your foot comes forward, legs comes forward, that's flexion, making the angle smaller, and then extension makes the angle bigger. And you can add footwork by dorsiflexing as you come forward and plantar flexing or pointing the toes back as you come backward. If you'd like to, you can pause and squeeze your glutes at the back of the extension. And back and forth you go. Kathy has a little cramp in her toes. The next one, the knees, let's see, the next one, the knees are bent. And you're just going, the ankles stay together, the feet stay together, and the top knee moves away from the bottom knee. This is another bent knee, abduction, adduction. And once again, if you start to feel like you've moved your buttocks back behind you instead of keeping your hips stacked, you've gone too far. And now go ahead and add resistance by just putting your hand on the top of your knee and then creating a resistance point at the knee with the hand. So when the knee comes up, the hand resists, and when the hand wins and comes down, the knee resists. Always resisting, always moving. Kihara, resistance. And now let's flip to the other side. The first movement is scapula, retraction and protraction. The top arm is parallel to the floor. The scapula moves away from the spine, which is called protraction, and then returns toward the spine, recoils toward the spine. That's called retraction. And just do that about 6 times. Make sure that you start to recognize where this movement is coming from, and add your breath if you haven't already. Now go up to the next movement is lateral adduction, abduction, or also called sunrise, sunset. The arm comes up, the arm goes down. Use your breath, keep breathing, add a breath, and think of what's happening here at the head of the arm bone, in the glenohumeral joint. When you're done, go ahead and start to internally and externally rotate the head of the arm bone at the glenohumeral joint. If you want to, you can make a fist with your hands so that you will avoid the tendency to try to make this movement happen in the wrist. It should be happening in the shoulder. And when you're done, bring your arm down. So we completed three shoulder movements, now 3 more shoulder movements. The first one being the snow angels. So arm comes up by the ears, the palm shifts forward, and then the arm comes down by the hip, back down by the hip. Improve your external rotation and bring the arm up by the ear. And the next thing you're going to do is shoulder circles, just starting backwards. So bring the arm behind you, up by your ear, in front of you, and then down by your hip. Keep going. Try not to move the torso or the rib cage. It's just the head of the arm bone is moving in the shoulder socket, in the glenohumeral joint. And at some point, I haven't been counting, but yeah, right now, you'll want to reverse your direction. I like the way we're doing this, Kathy. I don't have to count. I just wait for you to stop. I think that works. And now the flying pizza. So the elbow is bent and the forearm moves and the wrist also rotates. You should feel this in the upper back at the top of the shoulders where the rotator cuff muscles connect to the scapula actually. I think they also some of them may connect also to the arm bone. And now go ahead and we're going to start the legs, the hip work. Start with your legs straight, or at least the top leg is straight. The bottom can be slightly bent. And then just lift your leg. And remember, you've gone too far if you feel a pull or a tug in the psoas or any of the other hip flexor muscles. You can droop your toes if you'd like. And now flexion, extension. So the leg comes forward and backward. When you can add footwork by dorsiflexing forward and plantar flexing backwards. You can pause and squeeze your glutes at the back of the extension. And now we're going to do a bent knee movement, abductor, adductor. So just lift your bent knee away from your bottom knee, your top knee away from your bottom knee. Bend both knees, lift the top knee away from the bottom knee. To clarify, remember you're not moving your hips. When you've done 6, we're going to do 6 more with resistance. So put your hand on top of your knee and create some resistance between the hand and the knee. And this actually you should feel it in the glutes really seriously, or you may feel it in the glutes very seriously. There, I should have had you guys do 9 because we have a lot of time left. So let's go ahead and come up to seated. And we're going to go ahead and do a spine twist from some sort of seated position. Just starting on the right, twisting to the right. So twist to the right, put your left hand on your right knee, bring your right arm behind you, spider fingers. Find that spine twist, that thoracic rotation. And then once you got there, go ahead and slide your rib cage side to side without involving your shoulders. So sit tall, everybody. And I should be timing this, and I didn't. Let me time some of it. And just breathing and enjoying this really amazing, beneficial twist. Sit tall. Slide if you want to. And then unravel and come to the other side. So put your right hand on your left knee, bring your arm around, left arm around behind you, spider fingers, rotate the thoracic spine. Find your best spine twist, and then when you get there, keep it and slide the rib cage from side to side without involving the upper trapezius or the top of the shoulders. Feel the move coming just in the spine, in the rib cage. And let's go ahead and come back to center. Hold on, where am I? And come up. No, let's do this one more time. Let's do this spine twist one more time, and then we'll come up to standing. So starting on the right, left hand on the right knee. You can recross your legs or switch your legs. Find your spine twist. The best one you can do. And then start to move, slide the rib cage back and forth. So isolate the rib cage movement. It could be very small. Another example of stacking something on top of another thing. And then unravel all the way over to the other side, right hand on left knee, left hand behind, spider fingers. Find your best thoracic spine twist. And then when you get that, maintain that. Sit tall, think long and tall. And then just slide the rib cage side to side underneath the clavicle, really, basically. Small movement. Don't involve your shoulders. It gets better. The more you practice this, the better that gets. And you'll start to realize exactly what I mean when I say that. And come on back. And come up to standing. And we're going to do the standing back bend and the standing spine twist. You can see, or I mean, you probably aren't keeping time, but you can see that the side lying practice, especially since we did 6 rather than 9, but it just can be, is like a 20-minute practice. So you can add things around it and in between, in the middle of it. Stand up with your back facing the wall, standing in good posture. Finding your good posture, and then bringing your arms up and over your head with your fingertips or your palms on the wall. And we're going to build some bone density here and some mobility in the upper back and some good posture and increased respiratory functionality. I'm probably missing some things. Unravel yourself. Come to the right, place your right shoulder on the right wall, near the right wall, right foot forward, left foot back. Bend your arms and rotate your upper back, your thoracic spine into a spine twist, a rotation, spinal or thoracic rotation. Keep your hips looking forward. Kathy, your front foot should be parallel to the wall. Yes, good, that's better. Just staying here and breathing. And we're timing this because you're building bone density in the upper back, upper and mid back. And untangle yourself, come all the way out, come to the other side, left shoulder at the wall, left foot forward, parallel to the floor, right foot behind you.
Parallel to the wall.
Parallel to the wall. And bend your arms and rotate your thoracic spine towards the wall. And just breathing and waiting and appreciating all of the cellular activity, which is benefiting your body so much. Your body loves you. And come all the way back and come down. Let's come down onto the floor. And come into a child's pose just to rest. And you could put therapy balls at the creases of your knees if you wanted to stack on some myofascial release of the calves and the hamstring. Whoops. So if you do put therapy balls behind your knees, this might actually limit your ability to drop your hips because it's a lot of body weight to put on your calves and your thighs. But you could put a brick or a blanket there too, if it's uncomfortable. Otherwise, the rest of you is resting. Well, while the calves and the hamstrings are releasing, the rest of you is resting. Thinking of all the things we did in class today and appreciating them, all the things we've done so far. What's next? Well, what's probably next is a back bend, a back extension, prone back extension. Go ahead and come onto your belly. Actually, before we do a prone back extension, I'd like you to lie down on your belly, prone, with your arms crossed in front of you. It's called a crocodile pose. Just extend your legs, cross your arms in front of you, and rest your head on your arms. You can look one direction or another. And while you're here, I just want you to breathe. And I just want to remind you that when you're breathing, prone or quadruped, or even standing, you have more opportunity to breathe fully and deeply into the bottom third of the lungs, which are near the bottom of your rib cage. So stay here, breathe, and try to find that bottom lobe of the lungs. And make sure you fill it up because you can, because you don't have the floor impeding your movement or your breath. This is called crocodile pose. Whenever you're ready, you're going to come into the starting position for the back extension, Pilates back extension. Just your arms are beside your hips, palms up. You may have a small towel under your forehead. Take an inhale to prepare and an exhale, lift your chest, your arms, and your head. Remember, you're in a head ramping position, and stay here. And take some breaths. You may want to come up a little higher if you can with your chest. And then go ahead and take an inhale to prepare to come down and an exhale to come back down. Warming up for the airplane piece of this movement. Take an inhale to prepare. Take an exhale to lift your arms, your chest, your head. Take an inhale to prepare for airplane, and then an exhale, the arms up, out to the side. Stay here. I'm going to time this. You can stay as long as you can. We're building up bone density in the upper back. We're building actual muscle strength in the extensors, the spinal extensors that run alongside the upper back. the vertebra. And if you, while you're here, and if you can stay a little longer, you may want to lift your chest up just a little higher. We have 15 seconds left, but come down if you need to, you guys, and then either stay in a crocodile pose or a child's pose if you come down early. And inhale to prepare to come down, and exhale to come on down. Very nice. Very nice. Let's do thoracic release. So bring your arms out in a T again, but this time pressing the armpits, the arms, the shoulders, the chest into the floor. Looking to the right and lifting the right leg up and over behind the back leg, the other leg, I'm sorry, the opposite leg. You can move your hips, you can bend your knees, you can wiggle your toes, you can do anything you want. The only thing that you need to keep stable and unmoving is your arms and your shoulders and your chest. This actually is a release. You might even feel, as you keep repeating this practice, you might even feel the popping along the upper back as the spine releases itself. You may be able to skip your next chiropractic session. Come on back. Other side, look left. Left leg comes up, goes back behind and over the right leg. Keep the armpits and the arms on the floor. And breathe and wiggle. And do whatever you want with your hips and your legs. And come on back, all the way back. Do a crocodile breath. Just kind of stay here. Your head is resting on your crossed arms. And you're breathing into the bottom, the lowest lobe of the lungs. Make sure that your breath goes there. Can you feel the breath find its way there to that point? While we're in the era of COVID, I think you should do this, something like this often, even if you're seated and breathing into the back of your lobes. Now it's time for Yoga Nidra. Go ahead and find your way onto your back. Lying on your back, your legs can be extended, your knees can be bent. You might want to put a blanket under your knees if they're bent. You could also put your legs up. I highly recommend this. Actually, put them up on your bed or on a couch or on a chair so that your knees are bent 90 degrees and your hips also. You're gonna, oh, I forgot. Okay, no, I think we're all fine. So go ahead and, I started to say I forgot to have you on mute, but that comes later. So that's not where we're at. You may want to put a blanket over you or some washcloths over your eyes. I'm going to read and guide you through a 61-point guided Yoga Nidra meditation. Your job is to listen to my words and follow the words with your attention to that part of your body. Let's start with the breath, breathing in and breathing out, and watching the breath and your abdomen as it rises and falls with the breath. Now bring your attention and your awareness to the center of your eyebrows, center of your throat, right shoulder, elbow, wrist, right thumb, second finger, third finger, fourth finger, fifth finger, right wrist, elbow, shoulder, center of your throat, left shoulder, elbow, wrist, left thumb, second finger, third finger, fourth finger, fifth finger, left wrist, elbow, shoulder, center of your throat, spiritual heart center, right side of your chest, heart center, left side of your chest, heart center, navel center, center of your pelvis, right hip, knee, ankle, right big toe, second toe, third toe, fourth toe, fifth toe, right ankle, knee, hip, center of your pelvis, left hip, knee, ankle, left big toe, second toe, third toe, fourth toe, fifth toe, left ankle, knee, hip, center of your pelvis, navel center, heart center, center of your throat, center of your eyebrows. This completes the 61-point guided Yoga Nidra meditation. Go ahead and start to wiggle. Come back to the room, come back to another dimension. Stretch your arms overhead, stretch your legs out along the mat. Try to get a little extra space in between your pelvis and your rib cage. Wiggle your fingers and your toes. Rotate your wrists and your ankles in one direction and then the other. Hug your right knee to your chest and then your left knee. Hug both knees into your chest and rock your hips and knees from side to side. Just releasing the lower back, opening the hips. And whenever you're ready, roll all the way to the floor on one side, using your bottom arm as a pillow, and using your top arm, press your palm into the floor, bend your wrist, and bring yourself up to seated without rounding your back. Unmute yourself. I'm going to remove the spotlight. I'm going to change my view to gallery view. Go ahead and come into prayer pose. Press your palms together very tightly, maybe singing to the shoulder work we did today. Shoulders and neck. And now go ahead and relax the prayer pose, the palms. And lift the occipital ridge above, away from the shoulders, head ramping. And now just rounding, folding the cervical, not the spine, the skull, rounding and rolling it forward, nodding forward over a straight cervical spine. Dropping your head. Acknowledging and honoring the light in each of us. And knowing that we're all one light. Feel it. And we'll close the class by saying to each other, Namaste. Namaste.
Namaste.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kathy, too.
Thank you, Kathy. I am going to, I just saw the message, too late, but I'm going to end the recording.